All right, good evening, all. Welcome aboard to GAR Capital and our weekly recap and preview of the next week. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm the founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Great to have you here. Serving and trading since 2014. Happy 10-year anniversary, GAR Capital. Just want to say that from the top. Super proud of this team, super proud of this company. So glad to spend some time with you and talking markets. I love to do it. If you are new to the channel, welcome to GAR Capital, where we talk about the stock market, macroeconomics, commodities, and day trading setups. If you like what you are watching, please hit that like and subscribe button and turn on notifications for future content that we have. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing, the announcement, 10 years of service. My gratitude, guys. I can't say it enough. Thank you all for the questions, the views, the shares, and of course, your kind words. It means the world to me. I love doing this every single day. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm going to do a podcast on the kind of like what I've learned and the experience and some advice that I can give to entrepreneurs and traders. I won't do that tonight. I'll probably do it tomorrow, just for the fact that this weekend I'm just really just relaxing and enjoying life, just kind of recharging the batteries, ready for the week. So if you are interested in listening to that podcast, that will be on Spotify and wherever you get your podcast. Just search GAR Capital. All right, so let's go ahead and go over this week's results in terms of our options trades. If you are someone that is looking for the futures video this week, you need to go to our futures trades channel. This is just for our futures members, and the video is up with Nick. So thank you so much, Nick, for that. This week, 5 for 7, 72% win rate. Not the best, not terrible, pretty solid. We traded Delta calls, small caps IWM, Microsoft calls, Boeing calls, and NVIDIA calls. And the ones that didn't work was AMD and JPM. Let's go ahead and go over some of those setups together and kind of see what we did right and what we did wrong. All right, so let's go to Delta. So Delta, we had the 51 calls. Those went in the money. How wonderful is that? Was right above the 20-day. Beautiful breakout, above 53. I mean, can't really beat it. I think we got in around 50 on this one. So let me see if I can get the last 5 days. When did we enter that DAL trade? Let me get the date. DAL. DAL actually went as high as 400% this week as well. Let me go ahead and find it out. DAL. Oh, still scrolling here. My apologies. I'm trying to find the exact date of the signal. There we go. All right, let's move this over. Thank you. Big shout out to the team. Nick DiGiacomo with the signal. This was on the 10th of October at around noon. We had the 51 calls at around 99 cents. As you could see, we closed the week at 55. So let's go ahead and take a look at it rather quickly. Okay, so the 10th, I believe, if I can get my calendar right, I believe that was last week. Yep, we filled those last week. So we're going to have to expand this a little bit. There we go, right over here. This is where we filled it right after the earnings. We got the push higher, beautiful move higher. All the airlines did well. United Airlines did well as well. So that one as high as 400%. If you left a runner, great. I just hope you guys didn't get exercised on the sock. Let's see if we can move up a little more. In terms of resistance, I got around 57.50 as the next R. We're at 55.80. I guess if we get above 56, we can start looking at possibly for some more upside. Let's see here. There's a major gap here at 56.93. So we want to go ahead and see if we can get above 57. 57. That would work. There you go. All right. So we get above 57. We're talking about getting back to retracing the whole COVID flush. Taken a while, but it's good to see that the airlines, which are very consumer cyclical based, I usually say when it comes to an economy, are the airports packed and are people shopping? Those are two big things to look at. So $57 on Delta. If we break above it, we'll see if we can get to the 60s or right around that area, but we'll keep an eye on Delta moving forward. So keep that on your watch list this week. The watch list will be posted on our Discord here. Let me get you the channel. It'll be posted on watch lists and channels right here for our members. So that will be coming up very, very shortly, if not in a couple of hours. Let's see, what were the other trades that we had? Scroll back down. IWM 225 calls. Let's take a look at IWM. So beautiful on Delta. I love those. Just pretty much green across the board. In the money as well. Those were closed. We still got a little more to go. 228.64. If we can break above 227, maybe we can go ahead and play the 230 calls, maybe just the 228s and keep it tight. But that's what I'm looking for in terms of small caps. Break 227. Again, remember this upward triangle. We played that again. Beautiful bounce all above it. And let's see if we get the continuation to 230. We'll keep an eye on the volume for that. Microsoft, we traded the 430 calls. That was a spike rather quickly. I went ahead and gave everyone the heads up the day of. I believe that was on Thursday in the morning we had that spike. We had a nice closing. I think we were like 20% before close on a Wednesday. And then on Friday, we had a nice spike with the exit. I didn't get a chance to exit, but everyone else did. But I still think there's more upside room on Microsoft. Let me go and show you that. See this upward channel here? Very, very, very nice. But we've broken down below it a couple times, wick below. The only kind of concern is that we were rejecting the 200-day and the 50-day. The good news is that we never did the death cross. If this 50-day yellow line went below the red line, that would be considered a death cross. So I do expect that Microsoft does continue higher, trying to get us around 425 to 427. Earnings are coming, just not this week. Tesla will be reporting earnings. So we'll take a look at that here in a second. Boeing was our other trade. We played the 160 calls right there, the 25th. We took those as well. Got a gap to fill here. We filled that. We're just hitting some resistance right around 157, 158. We don't have those calls anymore. Again, we caught them, but we do have a gap to fill here right around 171. So if things does get better for Boeing, that's what we're looking for, is the gap to fill at 171. Let's just call it right at the 100-day. So we will see if we get that pop higher on Boeing. I believe they report earnings pretty soon as well. NVIDIA, we traded this one as well, 138 calls. Let's take a look at it. This was kind of the TSM proxy. Gave everyone a heads up. We were up 20% before the Taiwan Semiconductor earnings report. And then NVIDIA popped higher. Again, you can see that it's in the money. We got as high as 140.89 on the stock. I think NVIDIA, in terms of return, got as high as around 90%. And you could see around 85% there. 90%, and it was in the money. So well done there. NVIDIA got as high as 102. There you go. JPM didn't work out for us. That's one I want to take a look at as well. JPM, the October 18, 225 calls. Let's see here. And JPM, we hit in the money multiple times. Just unfortunate that it was just a slow melt up higher. We got in post earnings. Was expecting a continuation higher. We got the continuation higher, but we just ran out of time, unfortunately. It was for same week. If I could look back at it, I would probably have bought more time. And that's what I'm starting to do now in terms of taking a look at options that give us a couple of weeks, because we're right there. We're getting it right. We're getting in the money. The problem is just we're running out of time. So let's add a couple of weeks moving forward as things get a little shaky ahead of the election, or maybe we get a little slow movement, slow grind higher instead of what we want, which is momentum. Now, DAL had momentum. That's what we like. But JPM just didn't give it to us. But again, we had the 225 calls, guys. I mean, this thing is in the money. It's just we ran out of time. That time decay was just tough. Just tough. AMD, this was the AI event that went wrong. It didn't hold up, unfortunately. So that one's just an L. You could see that we had the upward channel and pullback here. We are holding the 100-day. Until we get above 170.09, I'm not going to touch this name for that gap fill quite yet. So we got very close. You could see how close we got on the 14th, right around the time that we filled it. But we got that pullback, and that was all she wrote on AMD. So just unfortunate to see, because of the AI event, that catalyst wasn't good enough. But they do have earnings coming up very soon, so we'll see if we get that push. Let's see. We also did SLV, silver. That was something that I was watching. We are in calls, and that's starting to pick up now. Take a look at silver, up 2.49%. Silver broke my alert. I'm going to go ahead out to the weekly, and you could see that bull flag breakout, triangle wedge breakout. We've been talking about silver for a little bit now due to the fact that we expect the dollar to fall. So take a look at SLV. We are in calls. We are in the 31 calls for November 15th. Great volume. The dollar, I expect this to pull back. You could see on the weekly, it did reject the 100 and the 50. I wanted to get below the 20-week MA, but the good news is that at least on the daily, it rejected the 200-day. And it's still a death cross, meaning the 50-day below the 200-day. I expect the dollar to pull back after this big move higher, kind of a melt up, high, not melt up, a grind up higher. You could see pretty much every day the dollar's been higher. And every time it's been hitting that $100 mark, we've been getting those bounces. Luckily, equities haven't been affected in a negative sense in terms of the dollar, but I think it's holding back what we can be getting. So again, I do expect commodities like gold, I do expect silver to move higher, copper to move higher. I think SLV is probably the better bet on that one, just for the fact that we had so much volume. So we have 31 calls running. Right now, we're trading. If we're doing after hours, you could see it's up 30.89. We should be opening in the money tomorrow. We'll see if we catch it. Let me give you something to show you guys. Where was I here? So you can see all the open trades. We send that out to our members. Take a look at this. I went ahead and put this up on Market Watch. I haven't traded SLV in a minute, and this is from 2020. So 504%. So I'm just hoping that we get that kind of movement again. Maybe if we get above maybe 32, we'd probably get something like that, just for the fact that it's so far away for November. Again, buying the time takes away the possibility of major return because you're trying to lighten the risk by buying the time. So that's where we are for the week. Again, pretty solid. I can't say I'm, oh my God, super excited, but I'm excited for what's to come this week. We're going to get that watch list out to you guys, and we'll see what we get moving forward. Again, as we just get closer to the election, could be just choppier, but again, we're getting a slow melt up. But I really like what we're looking at in terms of SLV right now. Let's take a look at Palantir as well. Palantir breaks above 43. We're going to test 44. That's all we're looking for. So 43.17 or so. That was kind of the R that we had about 2 Wednesdays ago. So once we break back above there, which I fully expect to get there. Palantir has been one of the better returns of the S&P 500, one of the top 10 stocks of 2024, excuse me. If you want to take a look at that video, it is on our YouTube channel as well. Feel free to watch at your own leisure. Looks like this thing's going to go to 45 at this point. I thought it was overbought at some point, but looks like that is the line in the sand, 45, which was that wick high from January of 2021. All right, so a couple things as well that I want to go over. Risks of the market. We have earnings this week, so let's take a look at that. Earnings calendar. You could see Verizon, Enphase, Vertiv, Tesla, American Airlines, so on and so forth. Let's just focus on the ones that we actually trade because, yeah, these are important. Don't get me wrong, especially if you're an investor. But Tesla's going to be the big one. So let's take a look at Tesla. All right, Tesla, the 1 hour pulls back. We've seen just chop really since last Friday. Just nothing in terms of the daily. What I am looking for is a break above 225.37. There's a gap to fill at 232. I don't know if we're going to trade Tesla this week, just for the simple fact that those premiums are going to be very juiced, meaning very expensive. So we may skip it, but I more likely see us skipping it. But if you're looking at Tesla itself, we're looking for a break of 225.37. You can play up to 235 or the 230 calls. Might be a little too tight, might be too expensive, but that's what we're looking for on Tesla, at least that. Netflix also reported earnings, so we are getting some positive earnings, reactions. At least that you're starting to get close to around 778 on Netflix. That right there is kind of the channel high. We could either break out of that, or you're going to look for that to short. And yes, I am thinking of shorting at that area, back down to around 700 to fill that earnings gap. Could be cheap, and then we could see if we could buy time some out of the money puts. Just in case Netflix has hit a point of too high, too fast. Could be. Every time we've hit those points of that channel, you could see that we have rejected. So if we just do this, you could see it right around 777, 779. That's where we'll probably pull back and get here. The last time I called something like this was Costco. And Costco pretty much did what I expected, which was pull back to that channel. Doesn't mean Costco is going to go to zero, but you could see it rejected right around 920 and hit back to 889. Not exactly a big move, but again, keep an eye on your charts. The key this week is going to be the US dollar. I talked about that. So just looking at my notes this evening. Again, we talked about how much it soared. It's really since the 50 basis point rate cut, that's where we've gotten that bounce. So it could be just the fact that, we're expecting a more hawkish, I guess we can talk about that. hawkish sentiment from the market since jobs are good, inflation is still solid, but the fact that the jobs market is still strong, that maybe the Fed may not give us an extra 25 or 50 basis points down for the year, and that's where the dollar is actually flexing a little bit. So a lot of it is how much is the Fed going to cut and election anxiety because no one really knows who's going to win. Again, we'll know the day of, I assume, or the day it's announced. We'll see then. And the faster we know, the faster the market can move on and price in the new administration, whichever it may be. So that's really big deal. The election has already started. A lot of states are doing early voting. Again, we will see what happens when it happens. Spoiler alert, no matter who wins, everything's going to be fine. It's still a bull market. And if you think the world's going to end, then you thought the world was going to end in 2016 and 2020, and it didn't. The markets keep chugging along. Yeah, it looks like the S&P is going to hit 6,000 by the end of the year, regardless of who wins. So just keep that in the back of your mind. You may get some volatility for that week or so, but everything will be back in order. Again, slow melt up higher, and then the next wall of worry will be if the Fed's going to cut. And then when the Fed cuts, the next wall of worry will be how much are they going to cut next time? And then it's just back and forth, back and forth. It's always something to worry about, guys. Get used to it. I've been worrying for 10 years. I'm a pro warrior. Okay, so what's happening this week? Watch this will be posted later this evening for our Signal members. The futures video has been posted. The public watch list, stocks we're watching, will be posted as well. We'll go over exactly the stocks that we are watching. So what I also wanted to show you as well was our, see if I can find this here. Show you our website and our services. So you click on memberships, www.gar.capital. We have all of our breakdown of the services that we offer. We do have the Discord that is free for all. That is the GAR Live Market blog. Again, all the information that you need, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Breaking news as well on this channel. This is 24/7 running. So again, if you are interested in just checking us out, feel free to check us out on our GAR Live Market blog. If you're interested in joining that, very simple. You click on memberships and scroll down and you go ahead and get the free plan. Check us out. People always ask us about free trials. That is your free trial because you get to watch this every week, regardless if you're paid or not. And again, we have different services for different members. If you're more month to month, if you're more annual, and then we also have a lifetime. We had a deal running on the lifetime membership for our 10-year anniversary. Unfortunately, that has ended. But again, you can always take advantage of our other services as well. 10 years serving you, GAR Capital. We love it. We'd love to have you on board. Let me go ahead and move my StreamYard as well. So that's where we are for the week. Let's take a look really quick in terms of what is to come in terms of the earnings calendar. Or not earnings calendar, excuse me, just the weekly calendar. Existing home sales will be on the 23rd this week. Initial jobless claims, that's on a Thursday, every Thursday. New home sales, that'll be, I believe, on Thursday as well. And then University of Michigan sentiment. Again, that's more of an inflation reading. If oil prices have gone down, we know the drill. Lower gas prices means everyone's more confident. Always has, always will be. Durable goods orders, kind of a leading indicator as well. So rather light in terms of, economic data. The big focus should be the dollar. And if the dollar pulls back, that'll help commodities. That'll help stocks as well. You can see futures are up this morning, or this evening, excuse me. Take a look at NASDAQ. I'm waiting for a break of 20,530. Then I'm looking for right around 600. More than likely, guys, we're probably going to break above 680, but we need good Tesla earnings to get there. Remember, this is the NASDAQ 100. Keep an eye on the Russell as well. The Russell setting up for additional leg higher to right around possibly 2320, which is our local highs. Get above 2300. We could see if we can ride that up as well. Let's take a look at S&P 500. And here's the hard part. S&P 500 is at all-time highs. What do you do? Everything's going to be based on earnings, at least this week, since everything is pretty much light in terms of information on the weekly economic data. We're getting some leading indicators. We got University of Michigan sentiment, labor news. That's unemployment claims. That happens every Thursday. And mortgage refinances. We get that on Wednesdays as well. So again, getting closer to the election, getting closer to November so we get some clarity and then we can move on. I fully expect a very strong November and a very strong December. So right now in October, we're just eating our vegetables for now until we can savor the entree that is waiting for us in November and December. And we hope that you join us for that quarter or those 2 months, or forever if you like, if you get the lifetime membership. Thanks again. 10 years doing this. Appreciate you guys. Thanks again. I can never give enough gratitude for that. I love doing this for you guys every single day. Morning notes and talking to you guys on Discord. It's so much fun. Have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy your Sunday night. I will see you guys tomorrow on the Discord. Cheers all.